Welcome back to the podcast. On this week's show, I have Charlie and Louis of the Dead Freights. The Dead Freights are a band from Southampton, signed to Gary Powell of the Libertines, are signed to his record label. They've been on tour with Libertines quite a bit. We spoke about all that, plus we spoke about doing karaoke and drag, and basically just touched on some of the pressures of the music industry, some of the pitholes the band have came across, and we talked about their new EP which came out a couple of weeks ago, and they go on tour, on the Fury Tour, starting on Friday the 3rd of May. I'll post a link for anybody down south that wants to buy tickets. Hope you all enjoy the podcast. Please keep liking, sharing and subscribing. Tell all your pals about the podcast, and more importantly, enjoy. On the podcast today, I have the Dead Freights, two members of the band, Charlie and Louis, described on their Spotify as gothic poetry spat over disco Nirvana, putting the ABBA and Black Sabbath, which I think is absolutely a brilliant description. But what I like to do at the start of the podcast is kind of just go back to your early days growing up, what life was like for the two years growing up, and how that kind of progressed you into music initially.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, hello. It's great to be here.
Yes, hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, cheers for having us on. Yeah, how did life growing up sort of affect our music?
Yeah, well, just kind of what life was like for you, and how that kind of, how your kind of first steps into music, bands and influences and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think I sort of, in the first music I remember really liking, like when I was quite young, I think maybe like 9 or 10 even, getting really into Eminem.
Right.
Like in like quite a big way, maybe quite a worrying way for one so young.
Yeah, we have that in common, Charlie.
Yeah, we both really like Slim Shady from really young.
Yeah. My dad got me the Marshall Mathers LP and said,
"Yeah,
don't tell your mum."
Yeah, in fact, yeah. My dad got me the Eminem Show, and I don't think that was a don't tell your mum situation, but I think she would have rather come home with something like fucking Caravan. Or,
Yeah.
What was it then that appealed to you about Eminem? Because I can mind getting into him, but it was more just the kind of the swearing when that kind of got me.
Yeah, just fucking it's just like really caustic, but then also really comic book at the same time. Just this like that dichotomy of just like how nasty it could get, and then the next line you're just cracking up, or he's just he'll say something really intelligent and then just make a dick joke.
I can mind at primary school, I can mind primary 6 or primary 7, the teacher let us bring cassettes into the class to listen to. The first time I brought one in, I brought Guns N' Roses and I played Get in the Ring. She just, because it's got all the swearing and that, and it was the full class was in stitches, but she wasn't happy.
Yeah, I wasn't having it. you taught a whole class of kids a lot of new words that day.
Yeah.
Very, very educational show and tell. Loved Slim Shady. Weirdly as well from a young age, loved the young ones as well. I was in I would be like in like reception, like really young, like 4 or 5, and watching the young ones. And again, like the kind of how grotesque that could be, and then also just how infantile it could be. Sort of like Slim Shady. I've never really compared Slim Shady to the young ones before.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm going through it, lads. I'll put the flag in the fucking ground here. You might actually see this. You can see that behind me. There's Rick Mail and
Yeah.
On the wall there.
You were quoting the young ones at the pub last night, Charlie.
Young ones are doing at the pub. Yeah.
I can't remember what you were saying, but it was cracking me up.
I can't remember. That was a few. That was a few Jamesons down, I believe.
And what do you drink with your Jamesons? I usually go Jamesons with a pint of Guinness.
That's a great, yeah. That's a classic combo.
Yeah,
We've been drinking
got me
James
into
Frank.
bother quite a bit though.
Yeah, we've been drinking James Franco's, which someone showed us in a pub, which is like half. It's a shot. It's a shot glass, half Jameson's and half Frangelico.
Right.
And that's a nice. It's very sweet, but it's got its own little it's got its own little kick, which is very nice.
Yeah, we like a little drink in the Dead Freights.
We like a little drinky one. I mean, I was drinking yesterday. I was drinking Jameson's soda and fresh lime, just because that was a good way of. My friend told me about it. Jack Francis, who's also a great songwriter, but he's he was just like, if you finish drinking pints and you don't want to drink another pint, but you don't want to go straight to just drinking short whiskey or just rum or whatever. You just have it with soda and just fresh lime. It's a nice little, it's a nice journey into it. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, you were calling that drink the Jack Francis last night, and ordering the Jack Francis at the bar, and they all somehow knew what you meant.
Yeah, they got it after a while. I was going to message him that this morning actually and say, if you go into the platform tavern in Southampton and order a Jack Francis, they give you
say your own name and you'll get a Jameson's.
Jameson soda and fresh lime.
Just walk into the platform tavern and say your own name and just see what happens.
I don't know if you can spill it. I don't know if it's.
The last time I was at we done a pub crawl, me and my pal. We were meant to go to Transmit about 2 or 3 years ago. So my pal had VIP tickets for Transmit. We were meant to go there, and we get into Glasgow, and obviously we're both in our 40s, and we're looking about, and we're like, everybody's like, it's all teenagers. So we went to like a few pubs and all that before it, and then the last pub we ended up in, we were maybe about 10-minute walk for Transmit. And we stayed in there. We never went to Transmit. And we met these two guys. One of them looked like Jesus, and they were both Irish, and they ended up buying us drinks, and they made this thing. It was like a cocktail. It was like Krabby's ginger ale, lager, and I can't mind what whiskey it was. It was like an Irish whiskey as well, and then lime, and it was all together, and it was. It shouldn't work, but it did. It was brilliant.
It sounds good. The beer bit sounds weird.
The beer bit sounds weird, but I have had someone's made me one of those before, like a beer cocktail, and it was like a desperado, and then another like something, and then like a bit of tequila or something in there, like a sort of beer cocktail. Didn't you? You had a cocktail in India, didn't you, Louis? That was all of those spirits. And then...
I can't remember exactly what it was, but the cocktail was called something like.
I don't want to go home tonight.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, I don't want to go home tonight.
Tonight's spelled TONITE.
Yeah.
It was essentially a from what I can remember, it was just like a Long Island iced tea, but you just do all the spirits and then just put beer in there at the end instead of cola.
I didn't want to go home.
That night. We ended up there was. Elbow were playing at the Carlin Academy that night, and we ended up trying to sell our Transmit tickets, trying to swap them and go to Elbow instead.
Yeah.
Charlie, you're a big Elbow fan, aren't you?
Big Elbow fan, yeah. No, he likes to drink as well, this guy Garvey.
Yeah. I've seen him, he was on the telly a couple of weeks ago. He's got a new album out, hasn't he? That's right.
Yeah,
on Sunday Brunch or something. I think I was watching him on that.
Yeah, I watched him also on Sunday Brunch as well.
Sunday Brunch is like one of my biggest competitors. See if I see somebody in Sunday Brunch before they've been on the podcast, it annoys me. So that's me. I fell out with Shed 7 because they were on it a couple of weeks back. Because I've been trying to get them on podcast for months.
Did you not see us on it this morning?
I've not watched it. I've got it on tape.
I hate to break it to you, pal.
Sorry, I've not watched it yet, so I've seen you on here first. Anyway, so other than Eminem, then what other sort of music were you into, and were your parents, were they kind of happy for you to get down the musical path?
Yeah, I mean, we both had both of our brothers, like we both my brother's played music. My brother played music, so he was already doing like gigs and stuff, you know, around when I sort of got into it. So it was already a path that was kind of already getting cleared out for me, you know.
Your dad's a mean guitar player, isn't he? He kind of knows all the songs, you know. He's like a jukebox.
Right.
Yeah, he's great like that as well. Yeah, it's a musical family, and same with you, isn't it, Louis? Didn't your dad play the saxophone? I've seen pictures of him.
Yeah, Dad played saxophone. Apparently, I guess my earliest musical experience was when he used to play the saxophone to my mum's bump when I was in there.
Play Louis Jordan.
But Louis Jordan, the Pink Panther theme tune. I remember coming out quite a lot.
Is that why you're so creepy?
Yeah. Nailed it. Yeah. Well, there's a myriad of factors as to why I'm so creepy, but that's definitely one of them.
I meant creepy in movement.
Yeah.
I mean, creepy is in like strange. Well, you are obviously strange, but
so how did the band come together then? Did you kind of grow up together? Or?
Well, I mean, the short version. The short version is you groomed me, isn't
it? Yeah. Well, no. But yeah, I mean, I met Charlie when he was how old were you? You were like 14 or something.
Yeah,
because I'm like 5 years older than you. So I was like 19. I was at uni, and I was doing music tech at uni, and one of my projects was that I had to record a band. And most of the music tech students like pair up with the music performance students, but I was a bit of a snob and like kind of didn't rate really like any of the music performance bands. I didn't think that they were any good. So I asked my teacher, I was like, do you know any like local bands? Because I'm not from Southampton. I don't really know like the area. I was like, do you know any local bands that are good? He went, this might sound weird, but my friend's son's band are amazing. And that was Charlie's band. They were called Get Dexter. And they were like 14, 15, and they were like selling out like the joiners and stuff. They were like making waves in the scene. Like when they played in town, they weren't allowed to like drink. They had like they had to like, they weren't even allowed in the venues. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they're too young. And then, but the place was always completely packed. And then so I recorded their band like at uni, and we made a little like 3-track EP as my uni project. And then I guess I can see how it looks like I groomed you. But in fact, it was a very innocent.
It was really good. It was an amazing experience, really, for me, because I loved playing music like in my school band and stuff, because we were young. Like people didn't really take it really that seriously, you know, but I did like already. And then like meeting Louis, and obviously it was his uni project, so he had to take it seriously, and we'd sort of having like conversations kind of about like the music and stuff. I'd never really met anyone like that before. And then, you know, and you were also just like hilarious as well. And I'd also never met anyone that was sort of openly that kind of funny and kind of, yeah.
It was good. And then I managed to get you out of PE as well.
Yeah, PE.
So once then you recorded the band, what was it, Get Dexter, did you say?
Yeah.
So once you recorded that, what was the idea then? Did you already know you wanted to start a band with him?
Well, there was a bit. We didn't see each other for a couple of years, did we? I was just going to say, I wanted to mention when I was recording Get Dexter, I remember your bass player. I can't remember his name. He was a little guy. He hadn't had his growth spurt yet, and he couldn't tune his own bass up because he couldn't reach the pegs. So Charlie had to tune his bass up for him. It was so funny.
Yeah, it's this little band of children.
Yeah, we didn't see each other for a while, and I think I remember a few years passed, and then I remember being kind of like, I think I bumped into you at like Bestival or something.
I saw you at Bestival when you were carrying a huge box of mixed peppers.
Oh, yeah. So I was working at like the festival that used to be on the Isle of Wight, Bestival on Robins Hill. And I work for a music charity, and one of the things that we wheel out in the summer is vegetable orchestra.
Big up the veg orc. I got a lot of time for the veg orc.
I know, man. So like we like make like carrot flutes and like potato panpipes and radish whistles, all sorts of shit, right? And then I think I remember feeling really embarrassed because I was just carrying like a huge crate of red peppers and feeling like not very cool about it. You know? And I bumped into Charlie, and Charlie sort of blossomed from being a teenager into like quite a suave young man, and I think I felt really like embarrassed that he saw me like carrying all this veg
with all your peppers.
Yeah, and you were like, you just had like a girl on your arm, and you were like looking like you had sunglasses on, and you were looking really cool, and I was just really sweaty walking up the hill. Just about to bash out about 10 pepper shakers.
Yeah. Do you do castanets with the peppers?
Mate, I've tried to do a castanet, but it's never worked out.
Have you thought about, because courgettes are they're quite robust, aren't they? But they're also quite light.
They're perishable. Yeah. They're perishable. You make a courgette castanet. That's about 30 seconds of fun before that boy's breaking.
Yeah.
So is that what you were doing when you playing music with the vegetables?
yeah, man. It's like at the festival, it was mainly just really drunk people, just like wanting like a radish whistle or something. I remember there was one time I was like, I just had this. Potatoes are quite versatile, right? You can use them to make little reeds and stuff. I can't believe I'm actually talking about this. And it was towards the end of the day, and all I had left was a pile of potatoes. And this really drunk guy came up and said, "So what juice do you do?" I was like, "Mate, wrong stall. This is vegetable orchestra, bro. Read the sign. What do you want? A potato panpipe?"
I like that he's really drunk, and he's then decided, "No, I'm going to turn this thing around, get a juice, and just switch it up."
Yeah, get a juice, kind of like
just mellow out.
Put some vitamins in there. Feel good.
Yeah.
Looking for something to sober him up a wee bit.
Yeah.
Did you give him a potato? Consolation potato?
Yeah, I gave him a little potato panpipe.
So
safe to say he was absolutely disappointed.
Yeah.
So for that's chance meeting then with the vegetables.
Yeah.
How did that then progress into Dead Freights?
Well, it was just sort of, I think that was kind of one of the moments, do you know what I mean? Because I kind of saw, then I'd kind of see you like sort of around, and then I was playing music with a guy called Franklin, and it was just another sort of way that we kind of got brought together, wasn't it? Because the charity that Louis works for was starting to record bands, because they just set up a studio, and they kind of got Louis to ask us to do it, and I was in like we were like an acoustic sort of duo, and then we always wanted to record like that, and then we got to the studio and we started recording stuff, and we thought, oh, this needs some drums on it, and Louis was like, little secret for you, I'm a fucking mean drummer, so we kind of set it up, and you went in there and you started playing like behind like all these songs that I'd only ever thought of to be just these little acoustic, like we were going for proper, this was like slow, this was like Simon and Garfunkel, like it was really folky, you know.
Yeah.
I started putting all these like really tasteful little shuffles and stuff behind stuff, and it was like, fucking hell. And it was like, right, well, you need to do this then, like with us, like let's definitely be a band. And we kind of had plans to sort of set that band up with a different bass player and stuff. It didn't really materialize, but that's how.
I remember there was one point where I had to kind of fight for a position a little bit, because you'd auditioned another drummer as well at some point. I can't remember the timeline of how it was, but he had a see-through drum kit.
See-through drum kit, yeah.
I can't compete with that.
Yeah. You're transparent in other ways, which is more.
So, and what year would this be? When would this be run about?
In what, going back 2013, isn't it? 14?
Yeah. Is it as far back as that? Because obviously,
something like that.
According to Spotify, like your first release would be 2018. So what was going on then in that time? Was this just rehearsing, gigs, stuff like
Mate, we
that?
were just we were just gigging like as much as we possibly could for ages.
And
Yeah.
where we talking? Just kind of Southampton, Portsmouth way, just south coast.
Yeah, just South Coast, getting up to London as much as possible. Like, you know, like we were sort of known as that band that would like we'd get fucking trains with our fucking amps and like walk from like Islington station to some fucking venue. And do you know what I mean? Like we just go there and do it, which sort of became like a sort of a bit of a kind of, I remember like I'd talk to promoters around here and they'd sort of say, which it's the phrase that's kind of stuck with me and I still don't really know quite what it means, or well, it contradicts itself. They're like, oh, you're a great band, you play too much, so gigged too much.
Yeah.
Well, actually talking about that, just because I've started managing a band in the last couple of weeks.
And manager.
No, it's hard enough. It's hard enough what I'm doing.
It's great to be here.
But we've had lots of gigs getting booked, and it has gotten to a bit of panic. Do you think there is too many gigs you can play, or do you think that's nonsense?
I think from where a promoter's coming from, obviously there is, because they just want you to play like one gig for them every 6 months, and everyone just spend all their pocket money in one fell swoop. And they'd just rather do that. But when you're a band and you've just started and you've just got a set together that you believe in and you're hungry and you just want to go and show everyone, like why don't you want to play on fucking Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday? Like, if you can, and you're about
because that's what's happening then. Because we get a lot of the promoters that I'm dealing with, like they're talking to me and they're saying, right, you can't play 2 weeks either end of this gig, but we've got
like 2 months sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew that was a thing, like for festivals and stuff like that. They would, but I didn't realise it was for young bands starting out as well, which is it's a bit of bollock. But we've got them. I've got them playing next Thursday night, and then they're playing the Saturday as well. So fuck it, man. They're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like if you're a band and you just like, you just want to get out there and gig, really, and then it's like, who's it to? It's not really up to anyone to say if you're gigging too much. It's the thing, it's why it stuck with me. It does really. It's like, you're a great artist, but you paint too much.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? How does that even work? I don't know.
And you hone your skills and you refine your sound, because we back then when we were doing all of that, we was completely different machine to what we are now. We sounded completely different.
Yeah.
And our sound really slowly and naturally evolved without we never had a conversation about our sound. We should change our sound to be, I mean, I guess it's gotten heavier and it's gotten darker and it's gotten more aggressive into sounding, I guess, than it did.
Yeah, it's more violent.
We never sat down and talked about that. That just kind of happened over time, and we figured out what people were responding to and stuff when we play. I guess it's like comedians say it all the time, don't they? So you can't really practice doing comedy on your own at home. You can only really hone your comedic timing and your style in a live situation, because you learn from people's responses, the audience's reaction.
But obviously that's evolving in it as well. That's like the music's evolving, and it's your characters that are taking it to that place. So it's obviously your kind of chosen path, whether you know that that's what you're doing at the time. It's naturally going to take that path, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So obviously, what was the scene like then on the South Coast? Just I've had a band on recently for Southampton, the Manatees.
Oh yeah, we know the Manatees.
So I had them on a few episodes ago. So they predominantly play South Coast, very rarely do they venture further north. I think a few times they've done London, but I think this is their first tour that they're doing. I think they start this week in Glasgow. It'll be the first time they've been that far north. So
nice.
What was the scene like in the South Coast then, and how do you think it's evolved to nowadays?
I mean, to be honest, I mean, there's never really, I haven't really felt like there's been much of a real scene. Like the kind of scene is that there is no scene.
Yeah, that's kind of what they said as well.
Yeah, the only rule is that there is no rules, which kind of works really because it doesn't mean that, oh, because you play around there, it means that you have to play like fuzz, rock, whatever. You can, like, everyone can just do what the fuck they want, which is kind of nice. It's kind of weird, but bands do like go out and support each other and stuff. Like where we're from in Southampton, like in the past few years, there's been some really good venues like opening up that are, not like 3,000 capacity O2s, but also aren't like little dive bars. We've had about like 3 or 4 kind of spurt up now, like 300, 500 venues. We've had quite a few like bands coming through. I'd say that's how it's definitely evolved. But yeah, the scene that isn't a scene is definitely, I think we've spoken about this quite a lot, like Louis and I. But the fact that there is no blueprint is quite liberating.
So obviously, then traveling further forward, like as you've kind of played in London, obviously before you met Libertines and all that, but like one of your gigs, I seen 2021, you played with the Skinner brothers and Laurie Wright.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I've seen quite a bit of you with JW Paris as well. There's some there. So I mean that's kind of like a group bands of the same kind of. I think these have all got the same sort of ethos and the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So is that people that you've surrounded yourself with when you've went to London? These connections you've made there.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, because we're not from the same area of those bands, but something has gravitated us into that sort of sphere a bit naturally.
That's quite nice,
Yeah, it's nice. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose. Like, I guess that I guess the scene doesn't have to necessarily just be like confined to a location, does it?
The thing with like all these bands that I've mentioned there as well is you all sound different, but as I say, you have kind of got the same kind of vision of what you want to do. That's what it looks like for the outside, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Skinner Brothers and JW Paris as well, they're like us in the sense that they work really hard and they, and it's all very DIY for them as well. And they put the time in and they do they do the gigs and they carry their own shit. And do you know what I mean? It's like they're like
they're a proper hardworking band, man.
Exactly, yeah. Proper hardworking band, and no one's
same as Skinner's and same as Laurie as well.
Yeah, Laurie's like they work so hard, and they do it all themselves.
Yeah, but that's that. I mean, that's what I'm getting at. You can tell that they kind of how much they want it and how hard that they're working for it, and that's kind of again the kind of vibe I get for yourselves. And as I say, before you come on, Lee, I mentioned to Charlie I seen you that year 2021 on the Libertines tour, and to see how kind of how far you've went for 3 years ago to now as well. So it's something that's going to continue to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy few years. It's like lots of stuff's happened. Like we learned a lot, kind of going on tour with the Libertines. We learned a lot about like our own kind of relationships within our band. 2 of our members like left after that because they realized that it was not something that they wanted to do, and that was like, I don't know, man. There's been a handful of times where it's been Charlie and I kind of sat in my living room or something and just kind of thinking like, shit, is this like dead? Or is this going to fizzle out? But there's a lot of obstacles all the time for everyone.
But I think every band does this where they kind of you pick people up and you lose them along the way until you find somebody that is kind of serious and in it for the long haul. I mean, you look at the Arctic Monkeys right at the start and kind of what happened with them with the Andy Nicholson. Whether he was, I don't know the ins and outs whether he left or whether he was pushed, but kind of you look where they are now, and they obviously they knew what they wanted, and they were that guy was gonna leave the band one way or the other. Really, I think.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there was one point where like the two guys left. This is probably, I don't know, was that about a year ago? Maybe, I don't know. There was like two guys left, and then our manager left, and then it was just like me and Charlie, just like, dude, like it always just boils down to us. Like, do you want to keep doing this? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, me too, man. Like, well, let's get it together. You know, let's find some more people and just like kickstart this freight train again.
Mm. So obviously, Gary Powell, you get the involvement with him. How did that come about? That was before the Libertine support, so is it? So how did that come about? And what's that? Is that his record label? Is it 25 Hours Convenience?
That's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 25 Hours Convenience Store. Our old manager had a link with him, didn't he? And he got
Callum ended up playing bass for the Dirty Pretty Things at one point on one of their
like years and years ago.
For about, I think Callum was in the Dirty Pretty Things for about 24 hours. But he knew Gary, and then I think Gary sort of was maybe like kind of said something about, he knew that Cal had been working with us or something, and did they want to meet up and chat about it? And we were on a different label at the time that was kind of a sinking ship, wasn't really doing that much for us, or couldn't really do that much for us at the time, you know. And they like sat down and had a meeting, and then they kind of said to us, you know, Gary Bell's going to come down to your rehearsal room and have a listen to the tracks. Like, what do you reckon? And obviously we were like, fucking yeah, absolutely.
So how did that feel for you then, Lee? Like, see with a drummer coming down, how much pressure did that put on you?
I just try not to think about it, because otherwise I'd have got really nervous.
And what was your opinions of the Libertines, obviously, before this? Like, were you a fan of them?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you ditched them and you were into the Libertines.
Charlie's like the Libertines have been one of Charlie's favourite bands ever since he was like old enough to hear music.
Yeah, since I was very small lad.
I love the Libertines too, but I'm also like, I was a Gary Powell fan as well, because like I loved the Specials, and he was in that, and I saw him play with them like a bunch of times, and then I remember seeing the Dirty Pretty Things support Red Hot Chili Peppers back in, I don't know, ages ago, man. I was really 20 years ago probably, but I remember thinking like Gary, like he won man of the match for me out of that whole gig. I thought he was amazing. I was just like, who is this drummer, man? And it turns out it's Gary, you know. So yeah, but then it's like you said, like as soon as he came down, like Gary's lovely. So as soon as he came down to our rehearsal room and we started talking to him, like I immediately he disarmed all of that, you know, drummer thing. It was fine. It was just like, you know, there's absolutely no kind of pressure or about ability with people like him. You know, it doesn't matter. It's all about the vibe.
So obviously then him kind of getting involved and putting you on his record label, how long was it then between that and him offering you I take it was him that offered you the support sort with the labs?
I don't know. I think it took a while. Like, I don't think it was something that wasn't ever really part of the conversations that we had with him. And he was always, and we still are, like, he was always quite careful of, we don't just want to be the band that are like the Libertines, like runners up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We'll only ever be like as big. We'll only ever be slightly smaller than them if we kind of go for it on that. And I think, I mean, it happened probably quite a good time for the band, but you know, I had to stop wearing like military jackets when we performed. You know. No, seriously, I know, because that was a thing. I couldn't do that. Well, because you know what I mean. If you go see a band supporting the Libs and then you've got a little fucking frontman in a military coat, you're gonna go, fuck off, mate. What's this? Like, this is weird. You get like this weird kind of impersonation of it, and then you get the real thing. It's just really odd, like the amuse bouche.
And the thing with that as well as there's like looks wise as well, you're quite similar looking to Peter, like obviously a young Peter, no like you're no like Peter is the now, because Peter, Peter,
I mean, there's a little bit of that. There's quite it's when we do, because we still did a few shows with them earlier this year. We played in Falmouth with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will get a few. If I'm stood out the back having a cigarette, you will get the person that walked past. And then walk off. Yeah, no, you're looking for like a little bit taller, mate. And, you know.
Yeah, because you have got the same kind of build and all that as well as a young Pete Doherty. It's quite uncanny actually. See, if I were to take a screenshot of this now, you could pass as a young Pete.
Yeah, take that as a compliment. He's a handsome chap.
So,
yeah. Oh, now you've wiped the blurry screen off. You don't look anything like him.
No, I did that. I thought I was speaking.
I didn't know still. It's because
So obviously, as well as that, round about that tour, I think that just came after COVID as well. So, how did kind of COVID pandemic? How did that affect the band?
Quite. I mean, it was a bit weird because we kind of had this idea that we'd be like exposed to this like huge fan base of people that we could go and chat to afterwards and give out flyers to, and get email addresses and stuff like that. But the situation was that if we all had to test before every sound check before we got into every venue, and if one of you had COVID, then see you later, really, which is obviously fair enough. But obviously,
it's just like, don't get COVID and fuck up this big opportunity. Like, none of you get COVID.
So like you go,
and then we weren't allowed. And then they were like really on top of it, like on the tour, and we weren't able to like mingle with people after the show or anything like that, which was kind of sad, but it had to be done, I guess.
Well, just because it would be such a shit reason to miss out on those.
Yeah, because as I say, I can mind that night in Glasgow. I was speaking to you that night at the bar, so you were allowed to mingle then.
Did we?
Yeah. I was definitely speaking to Charlie. I can't mind who else. It was a boy with the long hair, I think. Who was that?
Dan.
Yeah. So I was used to it, and I was pestering him. I says, "Come on my podcast," and this is like 3 years down the line. I finally got him.
Oh, that's amazing, man!
But so,
I mean, that was sort of the COVID thing with the city. So that bit was kind of strange, like not really being allowed to go down and sort of chat to people. But then there was also this quite nice. There was this nice, because it was still as lockdown was it still in lockdown, or it was just lifting, or you had to show.
I think we came out for a bit, and then did we not get back in? Because I went to that gig. I went to see the Libertines, and I went to see Billy Bragg as well at the Barrowlands around about the same time.
Right.
I think I went to like 3 or 4 gigs within a couple of weeks, and then it was like another lockdown.
Yeah.
So people were just going mental, weren't they, after the first one? Everybody's just going to everything.
Yeah.
Down again.
Yeah, there was that element. There was that element of like, this. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
You can't help yourself, can't you? Know, when it's, I would go to a gig every night if I could. It's
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I mean, even at that as well, I think at Glasgow John wasn't in the band. John didn't play with the Libertines. It was Drew McConnell
Yeah,
as
true,
well.
didn't they?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've seen the Libertines, like the full Libertines. I seen them at Teen Park when Pete was already chucked out. And then I thought, right, I'm going to get seen them. In fact, I did. I would have seen them the first time they reformed. I would have seen them actually as a full Libertines.
Is that a Reading?
No, they played the Callan Academy. When was it they came back? 2012 or something was the first time they came back, wasn't it? Seen them then, but I've seen the Libertines 6 times, I think, and I've only seen them once with the four members.
Yeah.
So that's just the nature of the beast.
Anyway, so like moving on for that, a couple of singles out 2022. You done some recording with Steve Young for AC/DC. How did that come about, and how was it playing with somebody like him?
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was good, wasn't it? That was a weekend. That was a weekend at the Albion Rooms.
Yeah. That was. We didn't actually end up using those recordings or releasing them in the end.
I think I enjoyed the sessions. They were good.
I loved the sessions. I thought it was brilliant. And Stevie was just like a right lad. It's just really funny.
I think there's still some good stuff in there as well. But I think that was just as we were starting to just like, Gary was wanting to get a bit more like creative with it, kind of in the sort of production sense. And we kind of got together with Stevie and just kind of, we just like set up some mics and we kind of finished. We were like, sweet, that's fucking done.
Yeah, it was all live and it sounded great. Yeah,
I think the consensus was, I think this sort of the kind of idea was like, oh, okay, I thought, we could do something a bit like, I mean, it was kind of, we all kind of agreed. But they're good sessions. We did 2 songs that we don't do anymore, old songs. We did a song called The Girlfriend Experience, and another little ditty known as Hot Diggity Damn, I Want to Kill Your Man.
So
that song back.
So what happens with the recordings? Have you still got them somewhere? There was something that you would release maybe on like a rarities thing, something like that, maybe further down the line?
They'll still be around. So that's the thing. They're good songs, They are good. They are good songs. We're really ruthless with like kind of songs that we keep in the set and songs that we just keep like in general. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not one of those bands that just kind of will write a song and keep it and just play it to death at like every show. Like, we don't have like albums upon albums of stuff out. It's like we're kind of we're pretty cutthroat with it. Whereas like at the time, obviously we wouldn't have recorded those songs like if we didn't think that they were really good. And a lot can change like quite quickly.
Now I think better now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although, like you said, a rarities thing. What I think it'd be kind of nice to do something like, I like something like giving those songs to some real mega fans that us a lot. Something like that would be nice. Maybe not release it publicly, but like give it to like our private freight train that.
Maybe we can.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that as well. The freight train thing that you've got on the mailing list, and how does that help you kind of connect to the fans? Because again, that's kind of something that the Libertines always had, that strong connection with the fans.
Yeah. We don't really do the mailing list too much anymore because our old guitar player used to kind of man that. But we've got a big WhatsApp group with about 100 fans on there, and it's really nice, man. It's just like we'll always like put early bird tickets out on there first, and we'll if we've got kind of conflicting and like, or we're not sure about an artistic decision, maybe we've got like a couple of designs for an EP cover or a poster cover, we might put it on there and say, well, do you guys think of this, like get them involved a bit like that. But then they kind of that WhatsApp group also kind of autonomously runs itself. People are kind of sending other people things, bits, and
it's really sweet. It's really sweet. If I think about it too much, I start fucking crying. But it's a lovely it's becoming like a nice little community, which is really nice.
But I don't have my notifications on that WhatsApp, like on big groups like that. I don't have them on all the time, so I'll like turn them off and then check in and I'll see what's happening. It's just like these people have just been talking about us and sharing bits, and or just like supporting each other, and it's really sweet. And yeah, like Charlie said, it's quite an emotional little thing. It's just like a little family in there.
It does seem to be the thing. I've been involved in a couple, like just the Snuts one and the K's. Obviously, both of them have had albums out in the last couple of months. So see going onto their kind of message boards around about that time, as it's just constant, and the support that the fans put into these things is amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
the K's did brilliantly, right, with that record.
Well, this is the thing. Obviously, I pre-ordered it. I went to see them in Glasgow again at the Academy. They were supporting the Raytons and Declan Welsh and the Declan West. They were playing as well. So I went just to see the two support bands, and I got the album then. Pre-ordered the album then, and I think it was meant to be out last week or something, like the week before, and then it got moved, and it's up against the Libertines. So, like, how you can't, you're not going to beat the Libertines and Beyonce in the same week. It was completely unfortunate when the release came out, but they done massively.
But the thing is, it's like, but you know, they were in that race. They had flesh in the game there. You know.
Yeah,
that's important. You know.
So, and I mean the same with the Snuts. Just before that, I mean their album came out. It was at the end of February. There was like a month where there was like a big album out every week, like the Snuts, the Shambolics, Dylan John Thomas. See, like all the Scottish folk were all bringing out albums at the same time.
Yeah,
really good, man.
He played in Southampton quite recently. That Dylan John Thomas.
Mm.
I didn't know. I heard it was really good.
He could be massive, that wee boy. I don't know what he'll do, whether he'll get a band round about him. You see this a lot with kind of the singer-songwriters. They might start off themselves and then they flesh it out with a band. So
yeah, of course.
But I mean, he sold it. He's playing the Hydro at Christmas. He sold it 2 nights at the Hydro. So how he's going to do that with just a guitar, I don't know.
Yeah, fucking hell.
But, I mean, back onto yourself then. So, as I say, 2022, you had these 2 singles out, Hey Hatred and Batman, and Who Said Scared. Along with that, obviously, really, really busy for what I've been looking at. I mentioned you recorded with the boy for AC/DC. You played London with JW Paris. You played Trucks Festival on This Feeling stage. So This Feeling comes up quite a bit in the podcast because of the work they do with up and coming bands. How was that kind of playing with This Feeling?
Yeah, it's been they've been they've kind of sorted us out actually, with a couple of really good festival slots over the years, and just some good support, and put us on like a whole bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great.
And especially as well, just because for like one reason or another, like it's been kind of the release kind of schedule for the Freights hasn't been kind of what we wanted it to be, or just it's kind of we've had to work around certain things and certain obstacles and stuff. And I think for a band that hasn't really been consistently putting records out and necessarily having stuff like to promote, like This Feeling of kind of done quite a lot for us, really, because they're kind of booking us when they didn't really have to. But we always show up and we always fucking kill it. I mean, the Truck Festival was brilliant. Like we had like a super soakers full of tequila.
The impression I get for This Feeling though is that they're not going to support you unless they believe in you. So the fact that they're putting you on shows what they think of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's nice. And they've got some good stuff, and we've met some quite cool bands like through them and stuff.
Mm. That year as well, then Dirty Pretty Things. I think that was like an anniversary tour or something, was it? The anniversary gigs. So you got to support them.
That was Electric Ballroom, yeah.
Yeah, how was that? And that must have been a cracking show to play.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a brilliant show. It was a brilliant show, and it was nice. Yeah, it was nice to see. It was nice to see Carl and Gary. Obviously, well, you know, we've seen them play with the Libs so many times. It was nice to see them still doing their thing, but in like a kind of different like environment. Even, you know, maybe with a slightly different kind of fan base, or even though they're still just like, even though they were still like playing in the band, it was sort of, they seemed to be, it was like a kind of different, it was a different vibe there from the Libs shows, and it was like, I don't know, yeah, it was a good gig, that one.
As well as us, 2022 as well, you started a club night and the Good Mixer, was it?
That's right, yeah. This feeling
So,
as well, and that's another thing that this feeling sorted us out with, which is banging.
Right. So this feeling kind of helped with that, because I mean, club nights are the best as well. I mean, London used to be full of them. What's it like now for things like that? Is it still kind of a big market?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I think people like consistency. And that was a good. We did like, it was like 3 or 4 we did there at the Mixer, and I was like, I wanted to call it Beautiful Losers, and our manager at the time said no, and I think this feeling said no as well. And then I had a hissy fit, and then we called it Beautiful Losers.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant name. This is a thing.
Fucking right, man. Straight away.
Yeah.
Everyone hated that name apart from us.
Yeah, no, I think it fits perfectly. That's what club nights are meant to be. It's meant to be quite.
Someone said it. I said it to someone, and they were slagging it off, and I said, "Well, you know, it's Leonard Cohen's novel. His first novel was called Beautiful Losers," and they were like, "Oh God, what? It's a literary reference as well. Oh, that makes the whole thing so Johnny Burrell. It's fucking makes me sick."
And as well as that, then you more work with the Libertines on tour, European leg of the tour. But one thing that I wanted to touch on that I've seen, that I've been scrolling through your Instagram the last couple of days, video of you and Peter playing the Beatles. That is the best discovery I've done for a good couple of weeks, and it's brilliant. How was it kind of? How was it doing that, and how did it come about, and how did it feel just sitting in a stairwell playing with a legend like that?
It was nice. It was obviously it's kind of he was one of my sort of musical heroes. You know, and the Beatles are like my favorite band, and it was kind of like combining the two. But that was backstage at the Bristol O2 when we were supporting the Libs. That was for.
I'm glad Robert Franklin had his phone camera out, because I'd been given the job to film that, and I was loving it so much I actually forgot to press record. But thankfully Franklin recorded it, but he wasn't enough to. But that was real nice. We were just I was sort of trying to sort that out and saying to Gary, you know, if you could mention to Pete, it would be nice if we could do this thing for it's kind of dressing it up as like, it would be really good for the Freights, you know. But really, I'm thinking, it's just be great to do. And it was like, but then I sort of said, let's do the Beatles, and he was like, let's do I Will. Yeah, absolutely. But, that was a nice. That was a really nice. That we'd kind of floated the idea of doing it for a while, but we didn't want to be pushy and say like, can we do it now? And you know, so the idea was in the air, but I thought I don't know, we're never going to find the time or the right time. And then there was just on that day, it was just Peter came up to you and said, do you want to do it now then? And it was just like, oh, okay, right, we'll do it now. Yeah. And it was just really.
I didn't have an acoustic guitar, and he was like, oh, right, well, I suppose, we'll just use mine then, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. Looks like I'm going to bloody have to, you know. Yeah.
So what's it like then on tour? Do you see a lot of each other, or is it quite kind of that you're kept away from them as a support band. I only
Yeah,
ask because obviously, like, I spoke to Jack Jones for Trampoline, and whenever you see them, they all look like the one band. Like, they all seem to be together. I don't know if it's like that with yourselves.
Yeah, it's sort of it's kind of different with us. Obviously, like we know Gary in like a few different kind of instances. You know, like we work with him, and he's like, you know, he's our label manager, and like we answer to him, you know, in a kind of professional sort of respect. But then when he's in the Libs like environment, like he's just there because he's just a fucking badass drummer. You know what I mean? But we were like quite mindful of just like not. We didn't want to just want to kind of like impose ourselves on anyone for like quite a while actually. Like we really like it was like we played it really cool for ages. We did a whole bunch of shows with them, like I don't know how many it was, 20 or something, and it wasn't until quite later on in the tour did we actually sort of one night just drunk like knock on the dressing room door and be like, right, can we come in? And sort of we all sat around and sang Bugsy Malone, and we're just like drinking whatever. I remember chatting away to Pete and him going, so why are you so what, you know, what's taking you this long to come say hello? Are you on a pill or something?
I would be the same though.
I was like, no, I just wanted, you know, just like, because you guys you're fucking working or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I would probably be more than anything. I would probably be like going overly trying to keep them out the way because I wouldn't want to bother them. So I can completely understand that.
There was that to an extent, and also like I think in those situations, like I see a lot of kind of people maybe over familiar, and I find it odd, and there's always when someone's like that, I always feel it in the room, quite this palpable kind of awkwardness about this kind of, because obviously everyone wants to know these guys, right? Because they're icons, but like it kind of just trying to not not impose upon anyone, and just like, because obviously it's great to be there doing what, you know, to be doing that with the Libs, but you know, we had a lot of other stuff really to think about because it's our first like proper support tour, and you know, we had other situations going on internally with our band, and obviously we just want to get the fucking gig right and make sure that your strings aren't going to fucking snap, or like you're not going to fucking fall out with each other, or just that everyone's okay. It's like we kind of ended up with more shit to deal with really than kind of, oh my god, it's the Libertines. It was sort of like, yeah, fine, but oh my god, we've just got to go play in front of fucking 3,000 people. I hope that's okay. Like, we don't care whether it's whoever's sat there having dinner. It's kind of by the by right now because I'm just trying to fucking keep it together.
Yeah, man.
Should be the fucking Queen of England, mate.
So the following year, 2023, another couple of singles out towards the tail end. The one that I want to talk about is the kind of cover mashup, Lou Reed, Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me in the Wild Side, which I think is brilliant. It's a brilliant kind of rendition, but then obviously, as I say, looking at your Instagram, I seen the one. Is that real? Is that like a real karaoke you've done in the pub? Or real gig?
Charlie kind of Sacha Baron Cohen'd it and kind of went in there, and we had the instrumental of the track, and we just like gave it to the karaoke person. We went to a very typical Southampton pub,
right?
Which received the performance with mixed reviews, which was great.
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, the video, some of the people's faces, like all these like proper, like they look like proper hard men, but like they didn't know what to do. They looked scared, and it kind of. I think it's one of the best things I've seen for months.
Oh man, I'm so glad you like that idea. I strangely, I ended up in that pub. If you like, they do karaoke on a Friday, and I was looking around at the clientele, and I thought it would be great if I could give them a Dead for Eights tune and really perform it. And I thought, fuck, like we've got a music video. Why don't we fucking give them that? And then I could do it. And then the kind of drag thing kind of materialized, and I kind of had this whole thing planned out. told the fellas, everyone was really into the idea. It's all really good, and we kind of get it all ready. Like a friend of ours like puts me in her clothes and does like the makeup on me, and I put on my big trench coat, and we kind of get to the pub and we hand the DJ, hey, can we do this tune? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, sweet. And then it's all good, and we've got friends there with their camera phones ready to start filming it, and absolutely everything's in place. And I just think, oh Christ alive, I'm fucked.
You came up to me and whispered in my ear, you went, Lou, I don't think I could do this. So I was like, I'm going to get you a shot of rum.
It was very like, I mean, oh fucking hell. It was great. Like, yeah, you just kind of, because then I suppose that when you're in that situation, you can't, it's death or glory. You have to go for it. So I was on the tables, I was like kicking stuff over and like, you know what I mean? Like going up to people was on the floor and stuff.
You were like lap dancing like proper hard men.
Yeah.
They were hard up to the lap dance at least.
There's that one geese that just stands there and just fucking stares at me. And I like go up to it and then I walk away from it. He still just stares at me like, you know. Yeah, the depths.
Some of them were loving it though as well, weren't they? You got some real nice responses and stuff.
This proper hard-looking fella came up to me afterwards, and he was like, because I obviously just put my coat back on and went outside, had a cigarette. So, is that you dancing in there? And I was like, yeah. It's for a thing in a band I'm doing, like, so it's for our music video. And he was like, yeah, no, you're like fucking David Bowie, mate. It's fucking brilliant. Yeah, I saw him in the 70s once, and if you can wear blusher and still fucking do that, fair fucking play, mate. Good on you. And I was like, oh, God, thanks.
He wouldn't say that in the pub with his mates, so
well, yeah, exactly.
We also don't want to like make it look like we're trying to take the piss out of it or anything, you know.
There was no target for the video. No, it was just.
I think it's kind of. It's like a kind of social experiment as well, isn't it? Like just looking at everybody's reaction, because most of the women on camera seem to enjoy it. I think they seem to get it more. I think they realised that there was a bit of a piss take where the guys, because they're meant to be tough and strong, it's ingrained into them to hate it. But probably deep down, a lot of them got some enjoyment out of it as well.
Yeah, I like to think so.
I think it's important that we kind of like represent, like we kind of put out into the world, like this is actually where we live. We live here. Like this is down the road from us. This is what life is like when you live in this area of the world. It's not like Maida Vale or Hackney round here. It's different.
Yeah. And how's things at the pub? Have you been back since?
Yeah. I've been there. They do really good Guinness.
I've ended up at the brass. We were drinking at a place called the Cricketers in Southampton yesterday, and the guy drew a cock in the top of Louis Guinness.
Yeah, the barman. Yeah,
instead of a chamois.
Yeah, I told him that he did it a self portrait to scale as well.
Very good. Yeah,
he used his real one as a stencil.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, towards the end of last year, you supported The View in Southampton.
Yeah.
Obviously, along with the Libertines. The Libertines were like my favourite band, and then obviously The View came for Pete Doherty, chance meeting, getting him on. The View ended up supporting Pete Doherty in Dundee, and that's how they kind of became my next big band. So
yeah, great.
You had them on. You had them on the podcast, didn't you?
I've not had Kyle, but I've had Peter and I've had Kieran on. So I'm trying to get Kyle. I'm trying to get the hat trick, but I don't know. He doesn't want to come on. He's a bit panicked about things. But how was it playing with them? Was Kyle on his best behaviour?
Yeah, they were great. They were on top form.
They were. We'd never seen them before live.
I was blown away. I was blown
Yeah.
away by that vocal performance, man. I couldn't believe it. Like after we finished playing, it's like the View came on and he starts singing, and I was just like, wow. Like, I mean, I know they're good and I've heard them on record and stuff, but I wasn't expecting them to be like
tight band as well.
Yeah,
And like, and not just kind of sort of noughties indie kind of stuff. There's some kind of complex bits in there as well, arrangement wise, that are really interesting. And he was amazing. He was wearing shorts, which I don't think there's any place for shorts.
yeah, that's a new thing that seems to creep in the last couple of years. I'm not particularly keen on it either, but
no, you shouldn't wear the shorts. If you get him on the podcast, say he won't have heard of Dead Freights, but say, look, Charlie from Dead Freights, he's need a bit of advice, career advice, and, not to lose the shorts, just gain some trousers.
Don't lose them because you might find them again. So burn them.
Yeah, just tell him just the favour trousers at shows. Maybe sound checks. He could do the shorts.
I mean, they're a band as well. Obviously, we touched on earlier that Dylan John Thomas playing the Hydro. So the View, I've got 5 albums. They're on the 5th album. Obviously, took a break for a few years, but they've never played a gig like that. They've never had any nights at the Hydro, and yet one guy in the guitars getting to sell it. I don't understand it. It's kind of, I find it quite unfair in the music industry, stuff like that.
I think it's just probably he's just got a loyal fan base.
Yeah,
as well. He's laughing all the way to the bank with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's kind of coming off the back of Jerry Cinnamon, so that seems to be where music's headed a lot of the time with us. But I don't know if it's cheaper for them to put a solo act on than it is to put a band on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
especially now, where if corners can be cut, they probably will be.
Yeah, and it's hard, and it's quite hard work.
But
getting 4 lads into a room once a week.
Well, this is it. I mean, even this band I'm working with, trying to get a WhatsApp group and for them not to reply to a message in time, it's fucking murder. It's like herding cats.
48-hour turnaround sometimes with these boys. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So the start of this year, you've just, a few weeks back there, you just released your EP, which I get the pleasure of listening to. I think Lucius sent me it through early and I get listening to it. It's got the live track on it as well. Did that come from, I see that he's done a live album the year before. Is that where that's came from? Is this new stuff again?
Yeah, that was from the live stuff we recorded before in London. That was at Sensible Studios.
We got a bunch of mainly people from that WhatsApp group really to come down and we recorded like a whole live kind of album, and they listened with Bluetooth headphones on.
Right.
So it's like a gig with, and they had headphones on, and we just recorded a whole thing with them. And that, that track on the EP is part of that. It was one of the ones we did on that night. It was really good. We kind of all met at the pub down the road an hour before, and then we just took everyone to the studio and piled in there and just kind of had a bit of a little goth disco.
So how well do you think the EPs went down? It's been out 22nd of March. It's been out about 3 weeks. What's the response been to the?
Yeah, I think people seem to like it. I mean, everyone that I know has told me that they think it's good.
Yeah. It's nice when you get kind of like some of the music guys, like our mate Mitch is he's really hot on his production and stuff, and me and Charlie got like messages from him going, "Oh, it sounds really good," and it's kind of nice. But yeah, it seems like overall kind of like a positive response.
Yeah. It took us a little longer than we'd hoped to kind of get this thing out, and obviously with like the lineup changes and stuff, like we weren't really sure of like what we were going to release or at what time, or do you know what I mean? Because we've got like stuff that people are playing on that aren't in the band, and then we've got stuff that's like new where the current lineup is all playing on it. We didn't know when to release it now, but we're happy with the tracks like Shot Girl Summer and Asking for a Friend. Tracks that they've been in the set for like a year or so now, maybe just over. We've been playing those ones like quite consistently live, and people seem to like those live. And Sav Blanc as well. I mean, that's pretty much, it's a kind of crowd. It's a bit of a crowd pleaser as well.
Yeah, I find it's the perfect song for people that have never heard you to kind of go and listen to that, and kind of it gives them an idea straight away what you do sound like live.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and it's, you know, it's quite a grubby song, you know, in terms of like how it sounds. Like it was made to sound like that, and it was supposed to be kind of boisterous and sort of fast. But then there's some quite nice lyrics in there that I think like they don't really correlate with how aggressive the music sounds, because there's some quite delicate words that are sort of weaved in that one, which I also like.
I think that is kind of one of the best ways of describing you, though. Is kind of, it's quite poetic, but with a kind of punk kind of sound to it.
Yeah.
We go full circle here and just say we put the ABBA in Black Sabbath.
Yeah. So who was it come up with that then? Who was that come up with that?
Yes, I mean, we've got a few of those.
Kid show business over here, Mr. Charlie James.
Kid showbiz classic. Because we've got a few of those. I mean, to be honest, like the kind of it's more for the sake of punnery than it is kind of how close it references on music. I think on our Instagram it says Nirvana John Misty.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I was gonna. Yeah.
And we've also got them bookish vultures.
Yeah, and this is now you're just listening to two men laughing at their own jokes.
Yeah, of course.
So, before we kind of wrap up, choose your heroes. What have you got? What can you tell us you've got coming up the rest of the year? Do you know what you've got coming up the rest of the year?
Yeah, we do. So we've got. I mean, when does this get aired?
Probably a couple of weeks' time.
Okay, nice.
So,
sweet. Yeah, I mean, because we've got a tour coming up, so off the back of the Fury.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, you get a tour in May. I carry on.
Yeah. So that's off the back of the Fury tape EP. We're doing a small. It's just like it's like a little 5-date tour around the South Coast. The Fury tour, and we're starting in Brighton, and then we do Bristol, and we do Bournemouth, and we do Southampton, and we do London. Those are like over the first 2 weekends in May. We've got some really good supports actually. Laurie Wright's playing with us. So we're doing the Good Mixer in Camden, which is obviously where we did the Beautiful Losers night. So it's sort of a nice little back to the old stomping ground. And we've got Laurie Wright doing a support on that, which would be really good. Southampton, we've got
Station as well. The Station supporting us on that night as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Southampton, we've got Teenage Waitress as well. It's also a brilliant songwriter as well. It's got a couple of really good records out. We've got the Fury. We've got the Fury tour, and then we've got another few shows kind of dotted around. There's going to be quite a big headline show that we're going to do in London in August, which we're yet to announce, but it's going to be that one. Then we've got another few supports as well, which I'm not really sure if we're allowed to say about. But there are some bands that we've been talking about that we're going to be playing with,
right?
As well later on in the year, which will also be really good.
Any festivals are in? You get anything like that?
No, we have. That's the thing. We don't have many festivals lined up this year. We were a bit late to it this year. Terms of just when we were supposed to have stuff kind of released. Like obviously, like we could have. It's kind of for a festival. I think booking a band that you're more likely to book a band that's got like records coming out than a band that can go. I mean, we're really good, and it's like, well, yeah, sure, we're really good. We promote this, and this along the way. Like we've had very little to promote the last year, which I think we're lucky to have actually got some of the opportunities that we got given the sort of the kind of schedule or lack thereof.
So obviously, do you think then, does that come for, you say you've not got a manager anymore? Would you be looking for a manager to kind of come in and maybe kind of sort some of that stuff out a bit and kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm no author, by the way. I've got enough on my plate, but I was just.
Oh, yeah, well, no, of course. Yeah, no, we settled that earlier on. I'm still healing. Twist the knife.
It's a firm no.
Yeah,
That's the only reason why we came on here, mate.
But yeah, maybe someday we are kind of a bit out the loop to kind of think laterally and get some sort of release plan in place for these.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah. I'd welcome a manager with you, Charlie, because at the moment we don't have a manager, we don't have a booking agent. You know, we do this all ourselves, really. So it's kind of, yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have to someone, because sometimes it's kind of hard to kind of see the whole picture when you're in it. You know.
Yeah.
When you're in the band, it's quite hard to sometimes zoom out. And so yeah, if yeah, I'd definitely welcome a manager to tell me what to do.
Yeah. So I mean, something like that could that could sort you out for the next year, and then you'd like be the next summer you could be festivals lined up and some sort of release plan. It would be ideal. But whatever you do, I'll be looking out for these. I'll be looking out for new music coming out, and I'll be dying to see you up in Scotland as well at some point.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
But the last bit of the podcast, obviously, Time for Heroes. As I said at the start, I asked my guests to pick 4 heroes to come for dinner, why they're your heroes, and what would you cook for them? Just to see how good you are at cooking, really.
Absolutely.
So
okay,
Charlie will probably just nick some stuff from the cafe that he works at.
Well, look, hear me out on this one, right? Because I've been doing a bit on the Freight's Twitter recently, and John Niven, who is one of my favourite authors, great novelist and hilarious guy, and I like his outlook, I like his politics, and I like his style, and I think we'd have him because, well, for those reasons, and also because I've been following him on Twitter. He's been touring Germany, and he's been taking photographs of the various omelettes that he's been sampling, and he's been very generous with his scores. I mean, some of this stuff looks terrible, and he's been like, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. So I think I'd have him because I think he's funny, and also he'd be generous with the food. I'd make him an omelette as well.
Yeah. Obviously. But you'd be worried then that he never rated yours as highly as these German ones. I didn't think Germany was renowned for their omelettes either.
Well, you've not been to the right parts of Germany, my friend. Well, I think I'd make him an omelette, and then I've seen the ones that he's rated really highly, and I know for a fact because I've read his books. I know he's a smart cookie, right? He'd know full well. So yeah, I
didn't even know you knew how to open an egg, let alone make an omelette.
Well, the fact that you said open an egg in the first place, you crack an
egg. So John Niven, that's a good pick as well. As I say, I've done, this is 83rd episode or something, and John Niven was picked on the first episode, and he's never been picked since. So,
oh really?
So that's a good choice. That's a good first choice.
Yeah, sweet. Did they mention about the omelette thing as well, or was that original?
That's an original one for yourself.
Okay, good.
Who else we had in?
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about this earlier, like all the people that I consider sort of musical heroes. I think they'd be right grumpy fucks at a dinner party. Literally, I was thinking, right, well, obviously Nick Cave, no, just sort of intellectually inapproachable. Father John Misty, again, no, just make reductive comments, probably about the food. Cohen as well, grumpy, like obviously, yeah, probably a bit more sort of prophetic, but only after, I don't know what he drinks, and he stopped smoking as well, buzzkill.
Tom Waits is still a laugh, isn't he?
Would he be all right? Waits, we could have Hunter Thompson, couldn't we?
Hunter S. Thompson, yeah. We could. He'd probably want to eat something like a big veal steak or something, wouldn't he? Something quite decadent.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, because I've had your cooking before, Lou, and you're really good. You can cook well. I've had your burritos before, but I think if it's me and you going to be running this dinner party, then we get everyone fired up on Moscow before, so they don't really give a shit what they eat.
Hunter S. Thompson, have you been in King Tut's in Glasgow?
You've been in King Tut's? No, I don't think we have.
And the toilets in King Tut's and the urinals, it's the quote for Hunter S. Thompson. But I think it says
about the music industry.
Yeah, the snakes.
Yeah.
And that's just the good side. That's on the urinal in King Tut's. It's brilliant.
The plastic money trench where good men die like dogs and pimps roam free. It also has a negative side.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So Hunter S. Thompson, John Niven. Who else we got?
Come on, brother Lee.
Slim Shady.
Yeah, did we get Shady in? Shady now. Is he all right now? Is he still a laugh now? Is he gone serious?
Well, I don't know what's going on with him. If is he part of this cancel culture today? I don't know what happened to him. I've not heard anything from him for ages.
Yeah, fucking hell, I don't know.
Do you know what I heard that not that long ago? It was some podcast I was listening to. It was about Michael Jackson. So I didn't realise Michael Jackson bought all Eminem's music. I think Eminem had been slagging him off or something, so Michael Jackson bought all the rights to his music.
Who's laughing now?
I don't. It's just kind of came in my head. I don't know how much truth there is in it.
He dressed up as Michael Jackson in his music videos.
In the Just Lose It video, and his nose falls off, and he's on all fours on the dance floor trying to find it. Fucking.
It's so brazen, isn't it?
It's just like, are you fucking serious? In fact, Niven's got a character in in the sequel to Kill Your Friends, who's like a Michael Jackson type, this Dupree guy. Because we brought him up. But yeah, I think we'd have him, Hunter Thompson. I mean, it's going, the night's already going one way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we should just get people that we know can fucking handle it. Shady as well, yeah, he can. Yeah, Shady will do. Marilyn Manson cancelled.
He was a bit, wasn't he?
Tell you what, let's just have a dinner party full of cancelled white men. That'd be really good for our band, wouldn't it?
So four wild guests and just chucking omelets about the place. That sounds wild, man.
You said we were drinking James Franco earlier as well. Isn't he cancelled?
Yeah, fucking hell.
It's quite a theme going here.
Yeah, it could be the most controversial heroes that have been picked in these 80-odd episodes. This episode might get me cancelled, actually.
Yeah, if you get cancelled, then come along to our dinner party.
Yeah.
I can see the headlines now. Theoretical dinner party ruins career.
But that does, man. That sounds amazing. Nobody's picked him other than John Niven on the first episode. The rest of them haven't been picked, so that's what I like. But what?
Oh, Charlie, are we settling on Marilyn Manson?
I think, yeah, that's been done, mate.
Yeah, I mean, all of his tunes slap. So
Yeah, exactly. Like we're fans of the music.
yeah, we like the music.
But it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you tonight. You've been brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much for
I'll
having
post
us.
all your links, all your socials, for people to get a hold of you. Even if you just want to check out that video you did in karaoke, because I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Charlie also does a very good "Fly Me to the Moon" at karaoke as well.
Yeah, that's when we're taking it a bit more seriously, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, Martin, thank you for having us on, man. Yeah, it's been great.
It's only took 3 years for it to happen, but it's
exactly. Well, who's to say that, what could happen in the next 3? Right? we could be married, mate.
Well, maybe there is that. Anyway, I'll catch you later. We'll wrap it up at that. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Time for Heroes podcast. If you would like to get in touch, the best way is on the Facebook page, Time for Heroes podcast, or on Instagram at Time for Heroes podcast, or Twitter at Time for Heroes P1, or drop me an email at timeforheroespod@gmail.com. You'll find Time for Heroes on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google and Amazon. Please leave a review where you can, share with others, and more importantly, enjoy.